So, yeah. So I bought and read the book 13 Reasons Why. And in the contrary of what I expected, I didn't like it that much. If you can tell already from my YouTube history, I didn't enjoy the show that much. I thought the show was bad and it was conveying some very dangerous messages. That being said, I finished the show liking some characters and some key elements. So I was kinda curious about the book because everybody kept saying, read the book, it's so much better, yada yada yada. At first, I planned to read the book and do a series of character comparison, like how they are in the book and how they are on the series. I've loved Alex since season 1, so I was gonna focus my first video on him. And after I read the book, there was simply not enough details and materials to make a whole video about one particular character. So eventually I was like, alright, I'm gonna make a video about what I think about it then. Somehow I still managed to restrain myself from going out to buy the book right after season 1. So yeah, 5 years too late, here I am talking about 13 reasons why the book and my opinion about it. Now, before we begin, I am a huge book lover, and as a Percy Jackson series fan myself, I hate movie adaptations of books. The Percy Jackson movie, it traumatized me. It made me feel so upset. So I really, really hate movie adaptations of books. I sort of live with the motto of read the book. The books are much better than the movies. So, I was surprised to realize I didn't enjoy the 13 Reasons Why book as much as I expected. I went into reading it with very high expectation that somehow it would be so much better written and it will consist of less disturbing details than the show. But to my surprise, that didn't happen. Did I read it in one go? Yeah, I did actually. I opened the book and read it in one sitting. But mainly because I knew if I put the book down, I would never pick it up again and continue reading it. It has good elements of moving the story forward, but at the same time, you feel like you're stuck on one page and you just get so tired and you just want to finish it quick. Maybe because I already knew the plots, so it took the fun out of reading the books to find out what exactly happened. But that was my very initial impression of the book. So first, the book gives little to no description to the characters, like their appearances and how they look and how they talk, how they act. Pretty much nothing. So the choice of the series to Alex's style in season 1 will forever be a mystery for me. Well, Miles Hazer, he looks amazing in everything he puts on. He can put on something like this. And I would still be on my knees.
It's love. It's not logic.
But that style is still rather questionable to me. Because I already watched the series, so when there's no description to the characters, it's just easier to imagine the characters on the show and apply how they look to what you're reading, if that makes sense. So when the book says, Justin is an average looking guy, my mind went directly to think about Brendan Flynn and I was like, yeah, sure. What? Sherry's character in the book was actually Jenny. They are the exact same character, but one of them is named Jenny and the other one on the show is named Sherry. I did some research on why they changed Jenny to Sherry and found nothing. Also, Jeff didn't exist in the book either. He's just a senior at the school who got killed in the car accident while he was on his way to deliver his pieces. Now that we got those random details out of the way, let's move on. As I said, I didn't enjoy the book as much as I wanted to, but there are things I like about it. I feel like there are details that give more depth to the character and their behaviors in general. Now, Clay listened to all the tapes in one night in the book. So obviously everything happened fast and all under Clay's point of view. There was no time to explore what other people went through and how they dealt with Hannah's death in the tapes. So there was no character building and development in any other characters. Even Clay, he didn't get that much character exposure either. So the book sort of leaves you guessing what could happen next. In my case, I find that interesting enough. Vague prediction might not be satisfying for many people, but since the book focuses on Hannah and her struggles, it serves its purpose by not focusing on other characters. It just gives enough details about characters that might have the redemption, like Alex. Alex, with his personality and his actions, you get just enough knowledge about what these characters are like, and you have to guess how the tips affected each of them. Talking about guessing, Justin and Bryce's dynamics in the book also keep you wondering what exactly went on between them. On the show, their relationship was fleshed out and explored in every way, but not in the book. Let's break it down this way. On the show, Bryce was described as someone who was actually nice to his bros. Like his friends and his teammates, he treated them pretty well, like he helped them even though they're new or old to the group, etc. etc. Bryce was only ever seen to downgrade girls, but in the book, he's just a straight up fucking asshole. He treats everyone the same, boys or girls. There's that detail where whenever Bryce started touching or harassing other girls, he told them to just relax. That's what he always told the girls, always. Just relax. So on the tape about Bryce, sexually harassing Jessica while she was drunk, Hannah didn't say his name, but she said, "You told Justin to just relax. It's just gonna take a minute." And that's how Clay knew it was Bryce. Bryce manipulated Justin by words only, and he made it all about him. While on the show, Bryce pulled the brotherhood shit and stuff like that.
What's mine is yours, right?
In the book, he simply told Justin, "I have work later, so let me in." It was all about him and his own convenience. He treated Justin as nothing but inferior to him rather than a brother for him to take advantage of later. To Hannah, to Jessica, to Justin, to literally everyone. Bryce treated them with the same garbage attitude and lack of respect. There's no brotherhood or stuff like that. It's always just relax to him. And that also brings us to a deeper relationship between Justin and Bryce. On the show, when Justin tried to stop Bryce from harming Jessica, he was pushed to the ground and he was yelled at. The level of mental manipulation Bryce put on Justin in the book is higher than that. You never see him getting physical with Justin, it's all talk and speech. He told Justin to just relax, that he would only be a minute. And Justin was scared enough to give in and let Bryce in Jessica's room without further argument. It really makes you wonder what exactly happened between these two, so Bryce could manipulate Justin that easily. Bryce's character in the show was totally dependent on his words, like how he talks to other people, how he manipulates his so-called friends. I did appreciate the element of mental manipulation compared to the physical manipulation like in the show. So the book does keep you guessing from time to time, so that's nice, I guess. Going back to my original plan, when I was just gonna make a video about Alex's character, there is definitely something about his character in the book that makes me appreciate him even more than I already did, so I really like it. If on the show, Alex is already closed off and shy, he's even more shy and introverted in the book. Like this scene when Hannah and Jessica saw him for the first time and went to talk to him.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. We saw you staring at us and wondered which one of us you were checking out.
Oh, I wasn't.
Oh, come on. Don't play dumb. Do we look dumb?
No. I mean, no.
In the book, Alex barely managed to utter one word. He went red from head to toes, stuttering his words and failing miserably in forming a complete sentence. So I feel like this minor detail already gave us a lot of insights into Alex's character and personality. He wasn't that upfront or flirty like he was on the show. He was just wanting to be part of something, to be part of their conversation. I could already see his difficulty in reaching out to other people and talking to people he doesn't know, so it prevented him from making other friends. This explained why Alex was so desperate to try so hard to fit in and to make everyone around like him, which further explained his behavior and action with the list later on. Later on, his character became more upfront and honest, like when rumors about him dating Hannah went around the school. He did consider Clay and Clay's feelings and told Clay straight up it's not true. Well, it just sort of makes you see that not everyone on the tape were behaving in an asshole-ish way. On the show, when Clay went to Tyler's house and met Marcus, Marcus handed him the rock to throw at Tyler's window, saying,
"Besides, you're not the first one to come look at the famous window, man. We all did it. And we all took our shot."
But in the book, it was Alex and his idea alone. Alex was the first one to ever consider Hannah and what she said on the tapes. Everyone else, they just followed what Alex did because it would make them feel better somehow. Marcus didn't even know about the tapes before Alex asked him about Tyler's house. And since then, he made it some sort of hobby to watch other people come over to look at Tyler's window and hand them a rock, passing it on like a fun tradition rather than something serious. Alex was the first and only one to take action based on his guilt and pain. This detail sets Alex apart from everyone else, makes him stand out. That he was the only one actually considering and believing what Hannah said. Alex was like the first sight of someone who got dragged into everything because he was simply the new kid who was struggling to fit in, then proceeded to do things that might have carried consequences that he didn't even expect to happen. Is it even possible to not like the book the moment you open to the first page? I really wanted to like it, but when I saw 6 pages of reviews of the book, I was like, God damn it. When you start a book with 6 fucking pages of reviews about, oh my god, this book is so good, or oh my god, it's the best book I ever read in my life, this book is revolutionary, or this book is so much more than just a story about suicide, or something like that, it really feels like it's straight up pandering the idea of the book being the greatest creation in human history, which is not true at all. I do understand that the book deals with heavy topics, but that is not an excuse to shove reviews and good words and praises down the reader's throat that this book is worth reading. I am sure there are many books that have elements of mental illnesses and mental struggles. The only difference is that those books do not let those elements play the main roles in the books, so the readers have to dig deeper to understand and empathize with the characters and the story. With a book that straight up announces to the world what it is about, it loses the element of exploration from the audience. And when the audience reads those reviews, it really feels like it's our duty to appreciate the book. Like it's our utmost important task to cherish it and compliment it. But we have to compliment it because it deals with heavy topics, not because it's well written or well thought out. Common sense is like you have to be good to people, or you should pay attention to other people's feelings. Do not need a heavy book about it to exist. They don't even need a book to be right. I just lost a lot of my interest when I saw those pages and pages and pages of reviews. I definitely didn't need that to enjoy an emotional book. While I try to give the book the benefit of the doubt, it still carries a message of suicide being revenge a lot. This gives the audience a false idea about what depression is and how depressed people think. While it is heavier than the show, because on the show you at least get some hilarious moments, in the book you only get to see Clay and his struggles while listening to the tapes. And based on what Clay was going through, he was crying and breathing hard, he stayed out late and he didn't even go home that night. He became more and more paranoid as the tapes went on. He was paying for what he was still so confused about. He was hit with Hannah's stories while he was still mourning her death. It didn't give much insight on other characters, but we know at least Alex was suffering from the same pain, so much that he converted his pain into action. I really expected to see something healthier than just take your life and other people will feel bad, but I didn't see that a lot. On the tape, Hannah even sounded a little condescending at times. Unlike on the show, where the map was sent along with the tapes.
Oh, and the box of tapes should have included a map.
In the book, the maps showed up way before the tapes. She planned her suicide for days. She made the maps and put them into everyone's locker way before her suicide and told them on the tapes, listen to them and go to the points on the map so you can understand my feelings better. Like seriously, that's just fucked up. It sounded like an elaborate plan that she came up with to make others feel her rage, to get revenge on them by dumping her pain and her feeling on all of them. I understand that depression makes you feel and do things you don't even know why you would do so. The book needs a lot more work in showing that's the case. Otherwise, it comes off as nothing but a revenge plan where everybody ends up getting hurt, not just the dead one. And that leads us to my biggest issue with the book. It doesn't have any heart. I couldn't feel the author's intention or his heart in the story. It really read like a book he tried to make heavy and emotional, but then he forgot to insert emotion in there. I did feel tired reading the book, but because it was dragged on and Clay's night seemed to last forever, not because of the dread I was feeling watching Hannah's downfall. As someone who has been dealing with mental issues for a long time, reading about their school's lectures about depression signs and symptoms, it was almost comical to me. Rather than acknowledging that depressed people have different ways of showing and expressing their struggles, the book was constructed strictly on just one fundamental principle of this is how depression works and this is how depressed people act. I know signs are correct, but they are also incorrect for a number of depressed people. So seeing them reciting the lesson they learned at school and saying, we should have seen it, I was like, what about those others who do not show any side at all? How do you see that? Again, the book didn't feel like it had any heart to me. It feels like a book where the author just tried to cram as many struggles onto one character as possible. It feels fast-paced because the character was dumb a bunch of shit on her, not because her emotion was racing and changing and spiraling down a tunnel. It didn't have the author's voice. It read generic, like anyone could have written something like that if they committed to sitting down for hours to write something sad. I completely understand wanting your books to be successful. How I've been writing and dreaming about getting my own book published more than anyone can count. The point is, you don't just write a heavy book with generic plots, then you cram a bunch of heartbreaks in it and call it revolutionary. At least that's the feeling I got after reading this book. I just wish it had given more to think about, I just wish I could see the author in the book, his emotion and thought being subtly inserted into Hannah's and Clay's characters. Just see the author's more, Oh, you wanna know about the author's thought? Here's an interview with the author about exactly that, because the book is so revolutionary, so we had to interview him and get his thoughts and his feelings, and put that in the book too. Oh my god, it's so sad, fuck this. Do you know, the funny thing is, I've been holding off on making this video exactly because of my mental issues these past couple of weeks. Otherwise, this video would have been out way before today. However, my point is, as someone who writes constantly, I understand how hard it is to write a whole book and how stressful it is to make it good. I also admire how brave authors are when they submit their works and expose their writing abilities for the whole world to see. So I really don't want to go hard on any authors whatsoever. I'm sure J. Asher meant well when he wrote this book. But my point is, I wish readers and critics give themselves more values, Stop giving mediocre book passes just because they deal with heavy topics. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to like it because it mentions difficult issues. You should be able to like a book for the sake of reading. But that's it. Just read the book if you feel like it, and please give yourself the freedom to critique the book the way you see it. Thank you.